Our first guest may be America's favorite cutthroat real estate mogul. Season 6 of his very popular television series entitled The Apprentice Los Angeles premieres on Sunday. Here's Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Tell us how you celebrated your New Year's Eve. What did you do?
Well, pretty much I went on various television shows and bashed Rosie O'Donnell.
There you go.
Believe it or not, that's
What exactly started that? It had to do with the Miss USA thing, is that right?
Well, it did. She didn't want to have a nice young woman who had a little bit of a problem with drinking and other things to have a second chance. And she got on her show and went absolutely crazy. And I heard about it. Actually, Melania called me and said, you know, you wouldn't believe what she just said. And I attacked her. You don't attack people, do you?
I mean, I would.
Seldom.
Yeah. And then have you talking to Rosie? Did you pick up the phone? Did she call you? Oh, you were going to sue her.
I've known Rosie for a long time. You know, I've always felt she's a degenerate. She shouldn't.
Wait a minute.
She's not.
You can't say
No, but I really understand. I really understand her. I've known her.
You can't just say she's a degenerate.
Oh, really?
You can't.
Just watch her.
You can't say that.
Did you ever watch her act?
I like her. I think she's funny and smart. Here's the point.
I heard she doesn't like you.
Well, that's a pretty long line. But see, I think she's up to something. I think she's playing around here because I think she's too smart to actually believe the things she's saying about various people. So I think she knows what she's up to. I think it's a little bit of professional.
Well, that's possible.
Yeah,
that is possible.
So, but you're going to sue her? Is that what you were saying?
No. I'm certainly, my lawyers want to, but she called me everything. You know, I'm on the cover of Forbes last month on the rich list. She said I was bankrupt, and I've never gone bankrupt, fortunately. Could happen someday, maybe, but I've never gone bankrupt.
But didn't at one point
she's called me a pimp.
Oh, well, now that, I mean...
Which is not the nicest thing. And she really called it to me because of the fact that I own beauty pageants. I own the Miss Universe pageant. I own the Miss USA pageant. And I help somebody, and therefore I'm a pimp. So, you know, she's got some issues, but I felt I should take it on. And we can sit back, people like us, you sit back, and you take it, or you take it on, and I just felt I had an obligation.
But you wouldn't mind being a pimp. I mean, honestly, if everything else went away...
Well, now that is an interesting question.
But now, will this have a reconciliation here? Will there be a resolution to this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not certainly from my standpoint. I've known her too long for that, Rich. And I really did have a great New Year's, I will say. I was down with your friend Regis at Mar-a-Lago.
Now, what kind of a celebration is that when you go down there?
Well, you know, Woody Allen showed up, and Regis and lots of other people at the Mar-a-Lago Club, and we just had a great time. We had the Grucci fireworks outside, right in the Intercoastal and right by the ocean, and it was a really good fireworks. And Regis, I just saw him, and he says hello. He loves you.
I think the world of Regis.
Yeah, everybody does. Who doesn't like the Regis?
Well, now there's a guy...
How can you not like him? Now, me, you can dislike.
Regis, there's your degenerate, that Regis. And what about the flagpole problem at Mar-a-Lago?
Well, it is a problem.
What is it, Mar-a-Lago?
Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago, right, from ocean to lake. And
oh, I see.
It's become a very big issue down in Florida, and it's now become really a national issue. I put up a pole. It's an 80-foot pole. It's a beautiful pole, proportioned similar to those of other places with a flag on it. And the town of Palm Beach wants me to rip down the American flag. And I said, I'm not ripping it down. They want me to take it down.
Take down the pole or the flag?
Take down both.
Take down both.
And, you know, it's a rich town. It's the richest town in this country, and it's frankly a spoiled town. And they came to me and they said, we want that flag taken down. And I said I'm not going to do it. So we're now in court, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And to the tune of how much? What is the suit? What they're suing
Well,
you?
I sued them for
You're
$10
suing
million.
them.
No, I sued them for $10 million with all of the proceeds to go to the returning Iraqi war veterans, which I think is
very
good.
nice.
And they can afford to pay.
You know a lot about real estate. I want to know if now is the time to unload my timeshare in the Poconos.
Well, I think it's actually getting to be a good time to buy real estate. You know,
real
the
estate,
numbers the numbers have gone down a little bit in some markets. New York City, as you know, is continuing to be very strong, and so is Los Angeles, certain markets. But the numbers have gone down a little bit, and I think pretty soon it's going to be a great time to buy.
Now, let me, before we do a commercial, I want to find out what happened to Miss USA. Is she still in the country?
She's in the country. She's in rehab.
You know, what was her problem?
She had a problem with alcohol.
Well, drank too much.
She drank. She came to the city. She wanted to take over the city.
Is she from Kentucky originally?
She's from Kentucky, and she's very nice. And frankly, everybody assumed that I was going to fire her, so to speak, and I didn't want to do it.
Right, right.
And I took heat from it, from a lot of people, actually, but I thought it was the right thing to do. We gave her a chance, and I think she can really serve as somebody that really serve a little bit inspirational.
What exactly was she doing? How did these problems manifest themselves?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I mean, she'd go out to clubs, she would have too much to drink, and she'd have a very good time beyond what she's supposed to be having. And lots of bad things were happening. Yeah. And we
was it all blown out of proportion, or was it fairly accurate, the accounts we heard?
I think it was probably fairly accurate.
Well, see, as a citizen of the USA, I don't mind this.
I know. A lot of my friends don't mind it either.
I feel finally I'm being represented.
You know, I've had many calls from friends of mine. They didn't mind at all.
And she'll come back out of the rehab thing and she'll be fine?
In about 2 weeks, she comes out, and I hope she's going to be fine.
Well, now, I don't know why anybody would object to giving anyone a second chance. I mean, it's not like anyone was actually hurt here. It's not like she stole or killed or nothing like that. I mean, why would we object to a second chance?
Rosie wasn't the only one. I mean, she hated the idea of it, but she wasn't the only one. I had many people that told me. In fact, the people that worked for me at the Miss USA, Miss Universe contest, they came over with literally a letter to be signed by me terminating her. And I'm saying, what am I signing? Why am I doing this? And we brought the young lady over to the office. I was very impressed with her. We went downstairs, and there was a tremendous amount of newspaper, a tremendous amount of the paparazzi, et cetera, I guess over 900. And we had a news conference in Trump Tower, and I announced at the time that she's going to rehab, she's going to be fine, and she comes out in about 2 weeks, and I hope she is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. And you also, yeah.
It is amazing, however, that so many people felt she should have been terminated.
How much longer does she have to go on her thing?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, really? So it's almost
you're
over?
talking about her reign, as we say.
Yeah.
2
You're
months.
talking, 2 months. Oh, so still.
Rehab 2 weeks, reign 2 months.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what happens to her after all.
Oh, I think it will be, and I think
because I want to tell you something here. If it had not been for this intervention, it could have quite likely have really had a detrimental effect on her life for the rest of her life.
I think it's true.
Yeah.
And I think being terminated as the reigning Miss USA would have had a terrible effect on somebody's life. I mean, it happened a while ago. Miss Russia. I don't know if anybody remembers Miss Russia.
Oh, are you kidding me, Miss Russia?
Remember?
Whoa.
Well, no, she was a very beautiful woman who didn't work. And she was fired, and nobody cared because, to be honest with you, she wasn't doing her job. And I didn't object to it. I didn't mind it at all. But this is somebody that has tried, has worked hard. Mm-hmm. She came to New York, and she really created a problem for herself. But I think it's going to be taken care of.
Is the motto, am I mistaken, is the motto for the pageant, you work hard, you play hard? Was it?
Well, it turned out to be the motto for her, but we're going to take a little bit of that away, I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, and give her a deal on an apartment. We'll be right back here with Donald Trump, everybody. Talking about this Earlier, somebody made what I thought was an interesting point. You have a lot of young people of great, considerable means who seem to be out of control. 20 years old young men and women, the next generation of people of great money and wealth. You have kids in their early 20s and so forth. You never seem to read about them being arrested or being taken away or causing trouble or, stealing cars or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas with some people, it's in the paper day after day after day, and these are truly just kids, 20, 23, 24 years old. How do you keep your kids from getting wacky?
Well, it's a great question because I've worked very hard, and Ivana has also worked very hard in terms of the three that are now in the business with me.
How old are those kids?
28 and 24. Ivanka's 24, and I have Eric, who's 21.
Yeah. See, now a lot of those kids would be running around yoo-hoo, drunk and
No, it's true.
naked. You know what I mean?
I have many friends that have that problem with it.
Yeah. So I think, like you say, something is you and your ex-wife.
Yes, and I think we were very firm, very strict with the children, and they're just good kids. I mean, inherently good kids. Ivanka was a very successful model, and then she just gave that up, went to the Wharton School of Finance, got great marks, so did Don. And I'm just very happy with them. They're in the business now. Don is in it for 4 years, and he's doing really great. Ivanka joined me last year. She's doing terrifically. So I'm really happy with the children. And actually, Don and Ivanka are going to be on The Apprentice. They'll be working a little bit on The Apprentice this season.
And the fact that it's in Los Angeles, how is that different other than just geography? What goes on there?
Well, we've had some really great times in New York, but we've done 5 of them, and it was time, in my opinion, and in NBC and Mark Burnett, we just thought that a new venue would be good. We started off, as you know, on the #1 show on television, season 1, and it continues to get really great ratings, but I felt it was time for a change. I mean, the hard part is to lift up and to spend 5 weeks in a certain place that's not New York, and it's very intense. I wasn't able to come back, so spending 5 weeks out of New York is not easy.
And what happens on the show? Like in one episode, somebody will get caught stealing petty cash, right? Is that what happens?
Well,
and then you have to fire them.
Well, we have an interesting thing. I mean, it's a little bit of a different format. We don't want to change it very much. But one of the things is that the winning team gets to sleep in one of the most beautiful mansions you've ever seen. And the losing team for that week gets to sleep in a tent. And by the time, and it's really a disgusting tent. It was nice the first night, and it was okay the second night. But by the time you get into the 5th week, it's really pretty gross. And it's not the kind of a place you want to be. So it was a very exciting season. I think it's probably the best season we've done, including season 1, which is saying something.
Have you ever slept in a tent?
Yes, I did, in camp, when I went to camp. Long time ago.
Where did you go to camp?
I went to a Camp Hilltop up in Binghamton, New York. And it was okay. Does anybody know?
Did you go to Camp Hilltop?
Somebody heard.
I'll be darned.
Is that true? Great.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And did you charge the other kids rent?
I know. I started working on it. I started thinking about it.
Okay, The Apprentice Los Angeles premieres Sunday at what time?
It's 9:30 the
9:30.
first. It's an hour and a half, and then after that it goes Sundays at 9.
Okay, great. Have a great year.
good time.
Good to
Thank
see
you,
you.
David.
Thank you very much. Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Mary Lynn Rice-Cobb.